A little bit just the headlines on this one. We are the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. We work in insight and analysis. We have a great number of reports, I think about 11 at the current stage, which help provide some of the knowledge base. And in English, there is a word which is almost never used called the macroscope. People are used to a microscope and a telescope, but not a macroscope. The macroscope is a detailed dropping exercise. It just looks at the big picture, it doesn't worry about the details. But less well known is the fact that an economy also has an active role for monetary circuits. And 90 years ago, Frederick Soddy said that what's standing in the way of prosperity is not just the physical resources question, but there needed to be a new look at monetary circuits. But for most environmentalists and resource people, they don't really look at the money question outside of just looking at, say, finance. Okay, so that's the picture of the economy we tend to have, which is a little bit mechanical. We know it's got many problems at the moment as an economy. We've talked a little bit already about resources, and here's the picture about resource prices. But that's not the only problem about the economy. Let's just pick a few more. This is from America, but this is typical across many high-income countries. Their productivity has gone up, and the amount paid to wages has remained steady or even fallen in some countries. Perhaps we need to have a different way of thinking about some of these problems. But Einstein said the theory shapes or determines what we look at. So we maybe need a new theory. We need a good theory. And I think it's important to remember that we do need a sense of where we're going to. So don't just fight against the old system, build a better one. And build a better one that makes the old one irrelevant. We have looked at the economy and other features through 19th century eyes, because we assumed the world was more like a machine, where we could identify cause and effect quite clearly. But with this change of view, we've known for some time that most real-world systems are in the middle. Now, on the back of research done and support from various philanthropic organizations, we went looking for the answers to some of these questions. And I just want to highlight one. Is this approach commercially interesting to individual businesses? And the answer seems to be potentially yes, it is. And it's not done as a basis of corporate social responsibility, although it does do good things. So it's not to say let's do more recycling. It's to do recycling when you've done everything else. Neil Gorenflo from MIT says that the big categories like Airbnb and Uber act like a Death Star in Star Wars. Circularity could be good for other reasons. So if you wanted one page, I call it the circular economy sandwich. You should eat all the sandwich, you shouldn't just eat the middle. We've tried to say today, I've emphasized the philosophy and the science. The circular economy is just part of that bigger shift, and it has implications for economics. Why do we tax people when we've got no shortage of people? Why do we make them more expensive than machines? Yeah. Some people are saying, well, why are we so worried about work these days? From nowhere, it's not our area, but from nowhere there's been interest in a universal basic income. Or are we going to change the goal? Is it more about bringing some people out of poverty and not going beyond environmental limits? Yeah. Maybe inequality isn't. Well, in the model, in the old-fashioned model, inequality declines after a time. Growth will clean up the world. So, are we addicted to growth, for example? As we've seen, quite a lot of data is around that growth in high-income countries is tailing off. And that question we were discussing before: do we want growth or do we want development? Do we really care what that particular figure is doing if we only look at that alone? So we might be saying, yeah, the traditional growth measure is one measure, but there are lots of other ones. This is an economist called Eric Beinhocker, who's probably the best complexity economist in Oxford
Allora,
University.
com'è fatta una nuova narrativa per l'economia? La mia speranza è che anche in questi tempi di post-verità sarà basata sui migliori fatti e informazioni scientifiche disponibili. Credo che conterrà una serie di racconti, un nuovo racconto di crescita, un nuovo racconto di inclusione, un nuovo contratto sociale, un nuovo idealismo. Di quest'ultimo punto non si discute abbastanza. I periodi di progresso sono normalmente caratterizzati da idealismo e progetti comuni ai quali possiamo tutti aspirare. L'idealismo è l'antidoto più potente contro il populismo.
These two main columns, the first one I illustrated is the story of the moment. The way to a really good economy is on the left. But Erin Beigenhocker is saying that that's not really working and that we're suffering from populism and lack of thought. So we need another complete story about the economy. Is that just a way of fixing this? Or is it the beginnings of a shift to a new story? Nobody knows the answer to that one. But Beinhocker thinks he does. The key to the second story is understanding system. So that's why the circular economy can mean a lot on different levels. Depends where you position it. Is it a fix or is it a suggestion of what might be coming along anyway? Maybe it can be both.